How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. Haven't made a video in a little bit, but I have to talk about these tariffs because I have a lot of thoughts about them. So it's good to be back. Markets are crashing. I feel like a lot of my more recent videos has been talking about markets crashing, and excited to be in a world where I make videos about markets going up and being excited about things, but we have to address tariffs. Tariffs is a very sticky issue because I did say on the channel, and I still think it was so far the correct thing to do, to vote for Donald Trump for president. And I knew going into it that while I would not agree with everything he's doing, he would do, I would agree with some things, and we can talk about that. But let's talk about tariffs. Tariffs is a taxation, essentially, and it's a consumption tax. Versus, we pay income taxes, we pay a lot of that, and tariffs is a consumption tax where you pay taxes on imported goods. And just last week, Trump slammed a bunch of tariffs on a lot of people. So I want to go through the logic of it and talk through and ultimately say why I think it's very wrong. And but let's jump into the logic. So Trump proposed this notion of, hey, I'm going to replace tariffs. I'm going to use tariffs and replace income tax. I think that's better. I think a consumption tax is better than an income tax because my income's mine, and if I buy an imported good, I am then choosing to pay tax. I think it's a lot better system. But the big problem here, where Trump, I don't think any taxes are good, and that's another discussion. This is a very bad situation because we still have the same income taxes, same amount of inflation, and now we have additional consumption taxes. So it's a perfect nightmare storm. So it's really concerning. But the logic of Trump, if I believe this is what Trump thinks, is that I can more easily get my agenda of tariffs out first through executive action. I don't need to go through, whatever reason, president can do some things through executive action, through some sort of defense measure, or tariffs seem to be within their capability to do so for some reason. So he slaps on all these tariffs, and then to actually lower income taxes, he would have to go through the House and Senate, and hopefully that is still a part of his aspirations. We don't know that is yet to be seen. And also let's talk about the nature of these tariffs, because I want to, and I believe this, I haven't read it through thoroughly, so if I'm wrong, feel free to let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But the idea was there was going to be reciprocal taxes. So if you're charging me 32% to import cheese into your country, I'm going to charge you 32% tariff into my country. I believe that was the nature of it. I don't know if that's how it actually got implemented. I don't know if it's blanket imports. I'm certainly seeing tariffs on everything for my business that I buy as an import, or at least a lot of it. It is definitely happening. The inflation, increased prices is here, essentially. There's a lot of preemptive action by companies to make sure they accommodate for this loss of revenue. So the logic there, let's follow the logic, is that if I enforce a reciprocal tariff, then we both sit there with this, these tariffs on each other. Why not just get rid of them? Now that I think that'd be a great way to end up. And through posturing and negotiation, I guess was unable to accomplish in there, which a lot of, we were all hoping that, hey, maybe this tough negotiation will push them to lower tariffs so we could export more into their country. And then there's a huge issue with tariffs. There's a lot of issues, but that put it inside that logic where Trump's head is at, that tariffs, they make you, it's a protectionist action, so it actually make your industries less innovative. And the real way to solve this trade issue, even if someone puts a tariff on you, is to lower taxes and regulation and become more efficient to still find a way to innovate and compete in that market. And I think Americans are tremendous at that, especially if we're forced into growing our companies and to find more market segments to serve. We are very innovative people and find ways to do these things. And if we didn't have the burden of high taxation and burdensome regulations, we could accomplish that easier and overcome the tariffs, because tariffs essentially hurts the consumers, right? Because when they buy these goods, they're paying higher prices from it. It's not good for the economy. It turns into a trade war, creates hostile relations between countries. Free trade is very good because when countries are engaging in trade, they do not fight each other. When there's an old saying, when goods cross borders, bullets don't. And that's why I think free trade is a great thing for peace. I think it's a great thing for American companies to grow into additional market segments. And we should not be engaging in trade wars. We should be engaging in free trade. And then you hear all the other side of the argument is, all these people that lost their jobs. Well, if we wanted to save their jobs, we would make it easier for them to do business. We wouldn't tax them, inflate their spending power, and overly regulate them. So those are the big issues on why these jobs do go away. And not only because we can find cheaper labor elsewhere. So while there can be some immediate positive impacts of tariffs in the long term, like you really do fall into, let's say you find a profitable way to operate, it is not the best outcome for humankind, because again, it creates companies not to have to be as innovative, and you get a less robust economy as a result. You get a protectionist, populist, weaker economy rather than a dynamic, fastly innovative economy, which is a world that I want to live in. I want to live in a highly adaptive, capitalistic world versus a protectionist, trade war, hostile war. So MAGA is getting an education in free market economics. The markets absolutely do not like this. It is not good for markets. Higher taxes are not good for markets. And it's it's part of that unfortunate thing I was talking about, where I knew I wasn't like everything with Trump. I knew tariffs were going to be a thing, and I could have, and I can live with it if we get lower taxes, and if we got rid of the IRS and replace it with tariffs. That would be a step in the right direction, and then essentially remove tariffs and remove taxes in general. So, but anyways, yeah, I can't just sit here and hopefully this encourages more people to challenge, their almost religious attachment to their party they vote for. You see a lot of that on both sides. That, hey, I vote for this person, therefore I support everything they do. You absolutely do not need to do that. You can be a dissenting voice. I've been a libertarian voter my entire life, and I feel like it's it made the Republican Party better. It made our vote count, our percentage of votes, attractive to make the Republican Party be more libertarian, less war, pro, let's say competing currencies, cryptocurrencies, more pro civil liberty. They really changed a lot of their stances over a decade, where I've been somewhat engaged politically. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to hear it from MAGA supporters. Tell me why I am wrong. Have I not thought through everything? Hopefully my response seemed thoughtful, and I hope it encourages everyone here to say, let's at least challenge and push back, and let's get what we want. We want lower taxes. Tariffs is another tax, and that's not what we want. I am happy with Doge cutting wasteful and fraudulent spending. I'm happy to see the attempts to get Zelensky under control there in Ukraine and eventually bring a war to the end of that conflict. Putin as well. They are both just as bad in my eyes. And stop war everywhere. War's not good, guys. War's not good. The market's throwing a fit. Stock market, crypto certainly as well. I got a frog behind me. But if you want to get into building where the real value is going to come out to BCH Bliss. You can go to Bliss.Cash and get your tickets there in Slovenia. I will see you guys there. And it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting time to be alive for sure. So give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.